Hello y'all on YouTube, this is Rob with Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today I have a very special review. Impressions of a knife that I've had for a while that I've really enjoyed, and it's kind of a cool knife here from Divo Knives. This is the Buzz. This is a design between Kevin and Colin of Divo Knives. You know Kevin, he's from Lefty EDC, and he helped design this knife. And you know, this is just a really cool little knife. I was able to get this one from Urban EDC. This is the all blacked out version. You have the black pivot here. I believe I had extra hardware where I could replace that and completely cover it up if I wanted to, but I didn't. I like Divo Knives logo. You have the wire clip that originally was in this particular one. I replaced it with a Lynch Clip, which I love, by the way. I like the titanium because it has a little flexibility, and the wire clip goes really well, you know, both sides. So that's really nice. Definitely recommend that. T8 screws all the way around, which is really nice. T8 screws everywhere here, so it's easy to adjust. This is a front top flipper or over the top flipper with a thumb hole. So the deployment is with the thumb hole, right? And then you can do the front and reverse flicking, and then you can do over the top, kind of that, or you can go up at the top and flip it. So, and that all works really well. Left-handed as well. Obviously, as you know, Lefty EDC is a left-handed person. He would probably have the clip over here, do everything reversed like this. And you can probably see that I have something on the blade because I use my blade. I use my knives, and that's okay because that's what you should do. This is a hollow grind. This right here, I believe, was this M390. I think this was M390. I have to double check. I think it's M390. If it's not, it'll be up here. All right, but I believe it's M390 blade steel. I don't think it was 20 CVE. I'm trying to remember. Let me see. Does it say on here somewhere really small? No, because it's all blacked out. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's M390. I'll have to double check that. But this, I love this blade shape. This is very much a, I don't know if you want to call it a Wharncliffe reverse tanto, sort of with that, right? Sheep's foot, kind of, I don't know, drop point sheep foot reverse tanto, modified, whatever. You can call it whatever you want, but you know, I think it's cool. Definitely hollow grind, comes a very thin, slicey edge, nice and sharp. I love this right here. It's plenty of room for your finger to get in. You can get really a nice flick, a nice opening with this. So that works really well. The action is fantastic. Now I did take this apart and I put in Skiff cage ceramic ball bearings in here, which made this even smoother and even nicer. I know Kevin from EDC, he likes a very strong detent. So I did break this detent down just a tight bit because I like front flippers and I like the top flipper, and I feel like if it's too strong on the top, it doesn't make this as enjoyable, and then you can't really do what you want. You know, you can't put your finger up there and then flick it like you should. It becomes a little more difficult, and I like that. My hands are medium to medium large hands, so they're large widthwise, medium lengthwise, so my fingers don't reach really far over like some really long fingers do. So I need a little lighter detent for me, right? And that works well, and this is just really nice. And I love the drop action. By the way, as much as it drops, there's no blade play. It's in there solid on the cage ceramic ball bearings, which I love. I mean, that kind of action, you typically don't get that guillotine without there being a little bit of blade play or not being tight on the pivot. So I think that's really cool. It is contoured. You can see that contoured scales. So they are contoured. It's definitely chamfered, rounded on the edges, nothing really sharp digging in. Everything here is nice and rounded all the way around, so you're not digging in. The Lynch Clip, which I highly recommend, is nice and rounded all the way around, so nothing digging in. That makes it very comfortable. You know, my 4-finger grip for my large widthwise hands, plenty of room. If I choke up with the finger choil, which is intentional, you can definitely have an extra large to double extra large, probably even 3 extra large hands easily would be out there, plenty of room. There's jimping right up here, so when you're going out, you know, it's flat here, you can do a precision cut, but when you're here and you're trying to cut, you definitely have some jimping, keep your finger from sliding all over the place. It's not going to be moving. That's really nice. Again, the finger choil right there works really well, so that's nice. I do enjoy that. There's great cutaway access to the lock bar. So this is a liner lock, and there's a lock bar, and there's a steel bar insert on that liner, so I guess it's like an inset liner lock, right? And so that has a steel bar insert. This is titanium on the inside. It's not a steel bar insert. So a lot of this is titanium, which gives it a really good weight. We'll get to the measurements here in a little bit, but it makes this knife very light. So that steel bar insert is allowing it to be steel on steel, so you don't have any stick. You don't have to, you know, necessarily carbonize the end of the titanium lock bar. So that's really nice. I really do enjoy that. All right, so the centering, let's take a look at that. Get up to the camera here. Oh, let's get to focus. Come on. center. Nice dead center, dead nuts there. You see that? Dead center, dead nuts. Yep, so really nice. Action is beautiful. The drop is beautiful. Locks in. You can see that when we go into the detent right here. So there's a detent ball. There's no lash, any slippage in there. Definitely have a detent ball. Lock up, you know, like I already said, that was, we're about good. Let me see if you can see that. We're probably a good 30%, which is what I expect. No lock bar rock, which is great. All right, so I like all of that. I like all of that. Reversible clip, we talked about everything else. Just really nice materials, I think. Really, and the black stone washed finish is just great. All right, so let's talk a little bit about, let's do some weights measurements. Since we talked about all the materials, we know who the designer is, Kevin Collin, Divo Knives, and this one was made by Bestech, by the way, so did a really good job. So our weight on this one, 4.26 ounces, and a lot of that is due to the titanium liners and titanium scales, which are milled out, so that's really nice, 4.26 ounces, which for a hefty knife like that and a pretty thick knife, that's pretty good, right? I love the blade shape, it's very functional. All right, going from the very tip to the end, we're looking at 7.5 inches for the overall length of the knife. The cutting edge, we're about 3 and I think 1/8 of an inch. If you go to the base of the handle, we're about 3 1/4 inches, right? So cutting length, obviously 3 1/8 of an inch. So it's definitely over 3 inches. So you got to watch your local knife laws. Sorry, I want to make sure you guys can see that. There we go. All right, so 7.5 inches. Overall handle length, if you don't do the choke up, is 3 and I want to say 3 5/8. If you go with the finger choil area, you have 4 1/4 to 4 3/8 of an inch. So plenty of room right there. I think that's really, really nice. All right, let's do a little bit of the blade stock thickness. Let's see how much that is, all right? All right, so let's see what we're at. So 127 hundredths of an inch. 127 hundredths of an inch, which is just a little over 1/10 of an inch. Not bad. Good thin blade stock over here on the top. Has a little robustness going over to the tip, so it allows to poke in to open a cat food, dog food, you know, mulch, fertilizer, you know, cases of water, all that good stuff. It has a nice point. It's a nice tip point there, so you can definitely do precision cut. So if you're doing like cutting something out, cutting into boxes, whatever, this is really great for that. I love the hollow grind. It's going to be very slicey. So all that measures together really, really nicely. So I think the weights and everything is good. I know the ratios aren't perfect, but I like it. I feel like it's balanced, right? And I'm thinking the balance is going to be, yeah, about right here, because, you know, we're taking this off with a finger choil, which I don't mind, because I like that kind of a choke up and cut kind of position. I think that's nice. All right. Is this a budget knife, is it a regular knife, or is it a higher end knife? It's definitely going to be a higher end knife. This is going to run around $350. So you're looking at a knife, unless you get a discount, but it's about $350. So it's a pretty good price, right? I think you would be very happy for what you get for the materials. Titanium scales, you know, I would say if you look inside, you can see even okay, so this is a titanium liner on this side. There's no liners on this side. It's a full scale on this side, and it's been milled out really, really well. And this is a titanium inset liner, and again, makes it pretty light, which means it's milled out for the inset liner. So that's really great. I think the materials that you're getting, the black stone washed, is really great. I did like that I could put a Lynch clip on there, but it would be cool for them to see, maybe do a milled clip of some sort. I think that would be kind of nice. I don't know. I'd love to see somebody do a more mill clip, or I'd love to see Lynch Clip do a more of a precision mill clip that uses some of the same things there. I think that would be really cool. I don't know. That's always risky, because you've got to make sure those measurements are real dead on with everybody, right? But I think it would be cool. All right. All that being said, definitely a higher end knife for sure, right? So what's its purpose? Everyday EDC. I think it's great EDC. It's super convenient, easy to use, easy to open and close. It works really well. It's very slicey. I think everyday carry, the blackoutness with this right here. I love this point. This with the exposed edge, to me, kind of feels like it's an accent, right? It feels like it's an accent point. It makes it look really, really nice. And you even have the tang of the blade that's kind of exposed, but all that makes it look like it's sort of accent, like a highlight, if you will, on there. So I like that. I could have gotten a black clip for sure if you want it completely black out. I didn't. I wanted this to kind of stand out, and I love the satin finish, and I thought this would look nice. For me, this is cool. It may not be your cup of tea, but just so you know, you can get a black one if you wanted it all black, for sure, right? So I like this. I like this a lot. So everyday carry, church, you know, work, whatever. To me, I feel like it's a little bit bigger knife. It's not a super small knife, so it's definitely not super discreet. But I think it's being all black and as well as it works, I think it's really nice. You can slow roll this open, so you don't have to frighten anybody. You're not flicking it, and you're not, you know, popping it open like that. You can just slow roll it open, so no one's scared about the knife. If you're in a situation where people might be a little worried, you can even open like a traditional slip joint, I guess, if you wanted to. So yeah, for me, for purpose, this is very, very useful. Everyday use, you know, yard work, around the house, whatever, just carry. So I like that a lot. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the handle and the comfort. It's very comfortable. No hot spots. Everything's rounded. Everything's chamfered here. There's nothing sharp. Can grip. No hot spots. I can choke up. No hot spots. Chimping. Everything works really well. Opening and closing is beautiful with the thumb hole, fuller hole, whatever you want to call it, with the top flipping, the reach around in the front, all that stuff works really, really great. The closing is fantastic. You release the liner. Beautiful cutaway. Nice chamfered right here. Nice chamfered on the lock bar, which is perfect. So you're not digging in. It's not uncomfortable. You're not going to, if you're fidgety with this knife, it's not going to after a while be digging in, hurting your thumb. So it's just super comfortable. This is how a liner lock should be, right? It should be comfortable, easy, accessible. It should work. It should be comfortable. It shouldn't be sharp. This is it. Good design. I like this a lot. Very, very nice. And closing, beautiful, dream. Just drop shutty without being all weird and, you know, rocking and loose. It drops like it's almost loose, but it's not. It's in there just really, really well, running really, really well. So I like that a lot. All right, close, all that good stuff. I love the contour, the shape, everything. It gives you a nice presentation. It's not going to roll in your hand. So for me, it's just such an ergonomically functional knife. I like that. All right. What else? I do think it's definitely worth considering getting the Lynch Clip. There are variants. I've already talked about that. You could do the wire clip, and the wire clip reverses very nicely. If you like wire clip, it had a black wire clip that looked really nice too, and definitely recommend that. I don't think that would be a bad decision at all. But you know, wire clips for me, I tend to bend them and I would stretch it, so I'd always have to get some more wire clips. I like titanium. It tends to be a little more forgiving and allows a little flexibility. So for me, that's my preference. You know, it's up to you, right? But I love the action on this. I love the flipping and the fidgetiness of this. It's just really nice. And that Skiff washers makes this just buttery smooth. No grittiness, just closes really, really nice. It's kind of have a nice sound to it with the milling and the inset liner lock and all that stuff. Just kind of has a cool acoustics to it, I think. I don't know. I enjoy that. If you want to take a look at that blade, the hollow grind, let's take a look at that. See how it's all blacked out, both sides. I think that's really cool. Here's the scale, if you wanted to look at that. Simple screws. You got 1, 2 here. This is for the, obviously for the mill deep pocket, or the wire clip, right? I can't talk. And then you have 3 over here with the pivot. And it's a captive pivot, which is nice, so you don't have to worry about it spinning and having to need 2 screwdrivers. I love that chamfering right out there. Of course, that chamfering right there just leads you right there for an easy thumb flick. You see that? It just tells you exactly where to go. Just like over here, does the exact same thing. And then for the reverse flick, put your thumb right in there and you just pop it open. Yeah, I like all of that. That's just, it's such a friendly, user-friendly, functional knife. All of it is just done well together. And I love the fact it's so fun to do left and right-handed, which obviously makes sense, left EDC, Kevin being a left-handed guy. So it's just as much fun doing this left-handed as it is doing right-handed. So that is something I really appreciate about his designs. And he and Colin, they just do a great job with that. So a lot of fun, yeah. Definitely. All right, so is this going to be recommended? Yeah, of course it's recommended. It's absolutely 100% recommended. I think it's a great value. Some of you guys might say, well, that's too much for whatever. No, it's not. You know, could it be cheaper? Sure, but you know, I got a discount. I used Lefty EDC code, so I paid a little less than I should have, you know, or less than it was listed, which is great. Made this a great value. And I think if you can find that as well, definitely consider it. I think it's really, really a good value for the money. I think it's definitely something you should consider having in your collection. I don't think you would be disappointed. Now, if you hate top flippers, front flippers, reach arounds, maybe not for you. If you don't like this reverse Tonto, Warncliffe, sheep's foot, modified, whatever we want to call this, maybe it's not for you. But if you like all of these ergonomics, these designs, these aesthetics, this is really a nice knife. I highly recommend it. I think you should consider having this in your inventory. Really, really cool, really, really nice. So, Yeah, definitely a very, very, very nice knife. That's my thoughts on that. I really, just really good guy, good company, good designs. I haven't been disappointed with anything yet. I checked out the Mash, the Pony Stout, all of them. I really like their designs. They're just so functional. Okay, confession time. When I first saw like the first Pony, I didn't like it. I didn't like the way it looked. But you know what? Here's the truth. I didn't like how Spyderco's looked when I first looked at them. I thought they were ugly. And boy, was I wrong. After a while, Spyderco's grow on you. You start handling them, using them, you're like, man, that makes a lot of sense. It's functional. And when you see the ergonomics and how the design is intended, it brings a beauty to it. I don't know how to describe this. And some of you guys may not relate, and you may think I'm totally an idiot, but some of you guys may relate to this. But when you see an innovation, a design, a thought process that goes into it and how it works really well, there's a beauty to it that really makes this tool functional, makes it really exciting because, you know, it's intended to be used. It's intended to fit and work like it should be, not just look like what you think it should. And there's a lot to be said about functional use, right? That's what makes a knife enjoyable. When you can use it comfortably, you can fidget, you can deploy it, close it, and it works like you expect it to. That brings a lot of beauty and attraction to me into a knife. And so when I tried the Pony Stout and I tried the Buzz, I tried the Mash, my mind was completely changed. I really was. And I gotta admit, you gotta put it in your hand. You gotta try it. I think it's worth it. If you're willing to try that, and you've liked like sheep's foot, reverse Tontos, you've liked, Wharncliffes, whatever, modified, whatever, I don't know what you want to call this, right? If you like any of those designs, you like anything about that, I think you might really enjoy this. I think it's worth a try. Okay, and what I recommend, get a Pony Stout. Get one of his more budget knives. Try that at first and find out if you like it. You will. I think you will. Now I've tried the Buzz. I definitely would love to try the Stout, the Pony at the Stout at sometimes, right? But I'm real happy with what I have here. But I love this. I love this design. I think he's just knocked it out of the park. He and Colin just doing a great job. So that's my thoughts on that, and that's where I stand. Do you have any comments about that? Do you have any questions? Do you disagree? Agree? Feel free to comment down below. I do try to reply to all the comments. I do try to engage with everybody. I mean, that's what makes these reviews exciting and fun for me, and the whole channel is, I love learning from you guys, and hopefully you learn something from me, and we have a good conversation about this. If you have any questions about this review, any questions about future reviews, anything you'd like to ask about the knife or the channel, please feel free to comment. I do try to reply to those as well. Hey, if you enjoyed this, you found it interesting, informative, entertaining, or just fun to watch, consider hitting the like button down below. And if you've already hit that like button, maybe consider hitting let's try that again. Consider hitting the subscribe button. Subscribing and liking the videos really helps out the channel and helps me to produce more content, bring more things to you. I really appreciate that. It allows the channel to grow. And if you've done all that, maybe consider hitting the notification button so you can be notified of future content when it's released. I would really appreciate that. And if you've done all that, and you still want to maybe reach out to me or check out my Instagram page, go over to Instagram and check out Robs_nerdy_knives on Instagram. Again, that's Robs_nerdy_knives. Hey, thanks so much for watching today. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.